The massive screen in front of Captain Do-hyun Park showed Earth as a beautiful blue marble. He stood straight and tall in his crisp United Earth Defense Force uniform, watching as the alien ship came into view. The ship belonged to the Orcs, an alien race that looked down on humans as if they were children playing with toys. Do-hyun felt his jaw tighten as he remembered their first meeting 6 months ago. The Orcs had arrived in their shiny ships, acting like they owned the galaxy. They had technology humans could only dream about, and they never missed a chance to show it off. "Sir, the Orcian ambassador's ship is approaching," said Lieutenant Hae-jin Lee, his second-in-command. Hae-jin was good at her job, maybe too good. Do-hyun could hear the anger she was trying to hide in her voice. "Thank you, Lieutenant," Do-hyun said calmly. "Let's show them that humans know how to be polite, even when others aren't." The main screen flickered, and Ambassador Anxithel appeared. The Orcian looked like a cross between an octopus and a tree, with long tentacles that moved like branches in the wind. Their skin changed colors as they spoke, today showing off shades of smug purple and superior green. "Greetings, Captain Park," the ambassador said through their translation device. The machine made their voice sound almost human, but couldn't hide how they looked down on everyone. "We bring you a gift from the Orcian Empire." The screen split to show something that made Do-hyun's heart skip a beat. It was a warship, but not like any he had ever seen. It was huge, almost 2 kilometers long, but it looked old and beaten up. Its dark metal skin was covered in dents and scratches from years of floating through space. "This is the Stellar Wanderer," Ambassador Anxithel said, their tentacles moving in what Do-hyun had learned meant they were trying not to laugh. "It was one of our finest warships, 300 years ago. We thought your people might find it educational." Hae-jin's hands turned into fists at her sides. Do-hyun understood why. The Orcians weren't giving them a gift. They were throwing their garbage at Earth and expecting thanks. But where others saw trash, Do-hyun saw something else. He saw chance, an opportunity. "The United Earth Defense Force thanks you for this generous gift," he said, bowing slightly. He had learned that the Orcians liked it when humans bowed. It made them feel important. The ambassador's skin turned a deeper purple. "We are pleased you understand the value of our gift. The ship will be in Earth orbit within 6 hours. We have removed most of our advanced technology, of course. We wouldn't want to overwhelm your engineers." After the Orcians ended the call, Hae-jin turned to Do-hyun. "Sir, with all respect, we should tell them to take their trash somewhere else. They're making fun of us." Do-hyun walked to the window of the space station. From here, he could see the ships of Earth's small fleet. They were new and well-built, but simple compared to Orcian technology. "Lieutenant, do you know why I joined the Defense Force?" "Sir, when I was a boy, my grandmother told me stories about her childhood, about how Korea went from being one of the poorest countries in the world to one of the richest. She said it wasn't magic. It was hard work, clever thinking, and learning from others." He turned to face Hae-jin. "The Orcians think they're insulting us, but they're actually giving us exactly what we need, a chance to learn." He pressed a button on his desk. "Get me Chief Engineer Yume Kang." A few minutes later, Yume's face appeared on his screen. She had oil smudges on her cheeks and her hair was messy, which meant she had been working on something important. "Captain, I was just fixing the quantum sensor array." "Chief, how would you like to look at some alien technology?" Yume's eyes lit up like a child on Christmas morning. "Real Orcian tech. But they never let us near their ships. They're giving us one of their old warships. It's beaten up, and they say they've taken out the advanced systems." He smiled. "But I bet they left more than they think they did." Yume was already typing on another screen. "I'll get my best team together. When does the ship arrive?" 6 hours. I want you to lead the first inspection team." "Yes, sir." Yume looked like she might explode from excitement. Captain, is it true what they say about Orcian quantum cores? That they can?" "Chief, Du Hyun interrupted gently. Right now, I need you to keep calm and get your team ready. There will be plenty of time to get excited once you're on board. After Yu Mai signed off, He Jin looked thoughtful. Sir, what if there's nothing useful on the ship? What if it really is just space junk? Lieutenant, let me tell you something else my grandmother taught me. She said that one person's trash is another person's treasure. The Arxians think they know everything about us, about what we can and can't do. He looked back at the stars. They're about to learn that they don't know humans as well as they think. The next 6 hours were busy. Du Hyun had to talk to Earth's leaders, calm down angry military officers who thought accepting the ship was an insult, and prepare for the official handover ceremony, all while keeping a smile on his face. Finally, the old Arxian ship arrived. Up close, it looked even worse. Its hull was a mess of patches and repairs. Some parts looked like they had been melted and frozen again, but it was still impressive. Even the Arxians' trash was bigger than Earth's biggest ship. Ambassador Anxithel insisted on a formal ceremony. They'd brought 20 other Arxians with them, all wearing their fancy color-changing robes. They talked for almost an hour about how generous they were being, while their skin flickered between smug purple and amused orange. Du Hyun stood through it all, smiling and nodding. He noticed something interesting. The Arxians kept looking at Yu Mai and her engineering team. The aliens seemed confused by how excited the humans were. Finally, it was time to go aboard. The ship's air system still worked, which was good. Yu Mai led her team through the main airlock, carrying their testing equipment. Du Hyun went with them, leaving He Jin to handle the Arxian delegation. Inside, the ship was dark and dusty. The corridors were huge, built for creatures bigger than humans. Emergency lights cast strange shadows on the walls. Their footsteps echoed as they walked. Chief, Du Hyun said quietly, "What do you think?" Yu Mai was looking at a hand scanner, frowning. "Sir, these power readings, they don't make sense. The Arxians said they removed the quantum core, but I'm picking up quantum energy signatures, strong ones. Could your scanner be wrong?" "No, sir. And look at these walls." She pointed to what looked like random scratches. "These aren't damage marks. They're data patterns, old ones, but still working. This whole ship is like a giant computer. The Arxians probably thought these patterns were too old to matter. But what?" Yuma's eyes were shining. "But they didn't know that 3 months ago, we figured out how to read Arxian data patterns. We've been studying the pieces we found in that crashed scout ship. These patterns, sir, this is their military database, or part of it, anyway. They left it because they thought we could never understand it." Do Hyun felt his heart beat faster, but kept his voice calm. "How long to download what we can?" "A few days, maybe a week. We'll need to be careful. Some of these patterns are fragile." "But sir," she lowered her voice, "this is bigger than just data. See that door at the end of the corridor? The power readings are strongest there. I think they left the quantum core. They'd probably thought it was too old to be dangerous. And is it too old?" Yu Mei grinned. "Sir, give me 3 months. Just 3 months. The Arxians think they're teaching us a lesson about our place in the galaxy." She patted the wall of the old ship. "We're going to teach them one instead." Do Hyun nodded slowly. This was what he had hoped for. The Arxians were so sure of themselves, so certain of human weakness, that they had gotten sloppy. They had given Earth exactly what it needed. A way to learn their secrets. 3 months, he said. "But be careful. If the Arxians realize what we found." "They won't, sir. We'll tell them we're just cleaning up their trash, trying to get the basic systems working again. They'll love that, thinking we're struggling with their leftovers." As they walked back to meet the Arxian delegation, Du Hyun thought about his grandmother again. She would have loved this moment. The mighty Arxians, so proud of their power, had just handed humans the keys to their technology. all because they couldn't imagine that humans could be clever enough to use it. A Jin was waiting for them by the airlock. "The ambassador wants to know what you think of your gift, sir." Do-hyun straightened his uniform and put on his most humble smile. It was time to give the Arctians exactly what they expected, a show of human gratitude and awe. Let them think they had put humanity in its place. Soon enough, they would learn what his grandmother had always said. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking you're better than everyone else, because that's when you stop paying attention. That's when you get sloppy. And the Arctians had just gotten very, very sloppy. "Tell the ambassador I'm coming," he said. "And Chief, get to work. We have a lot to do, and only 3 months to do it." As Yu-Mei hurried away with her team, already talking about quantum mechanics and data patterns, Do-hyun allowed himself a small smile. The Arctians had given Earth a gift all right, just not the one they thought they were giving. It was time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. 2 months had passed since the Arctians gave Earth their gift. The old warship, which Earth's engineers now called the Phoenix Project, floated in high orbit. From the outside, it still looked like space junk, but inside, it was becoming something else entirely. Chief Engineer Yu-Mei Kang hadn't slept properly in weeks. She sat in what used to be the ship's main engine room, surrounded by holographic displays and scattered pieces of technology. Her team had turned this huge space into their primary workshop. They had tables full of alien machinery spread out everywhere, each piece carefully marked and studied. "Pass me the quantum scanner," Yu-Mei said to her assistant, Jin-Ho Kim. The young engineer handed her a device that looked like a mix between a tablet computer and a TV remote control. Humans had made it using some of the first secrets they learned from the Arctian ship. Yu-Mei pointed the scanner at what looked like a big metal box with glowing blue lines all over it. The box was actually part of the ship's old computer system. As she scanned it, her eyes got wide. "Captain Park needs to see this right now," she said, pressing the communication button on her uniform. "Captain, please come to the engine room. We found something big." While they waited for the captain, Yu-Mei checked her findings again and again. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. After 2 months of careful work, after taking apart hundreds of alien machines and studying millions of lines of alien computer code, they had finally found what she had hoped was hidden in the ship. Captain Do-hyun Park arrived 15 minutes later. Lieutenant Hae-jin Lee was with him. As usual, they both looked tired but excited. Everyone on the project worked long hours these days. "What did you find, Chief?" Do-hyun asked, walking carefully around the piles of technology on the floor. Yu-Mei pointed to her main display screen. "Sir, remember how the Arctians said they removed all their advanced technology from the ship? Well, they didn't. They couldn't. The technology was too deeply built into the ship itself." She touched some controls, and a 3D image of the ship appeared in the air. Certain parts of it glowed bright red. These red areas, they're quantum processors, hundreds of them. The Arctians probably thought they were broken because they're so old. But they're not broken. They're just sleeping. Hae-jin stepped closer to the image. "Quantum processors, like computer chips." "Much more than that," Yu-Mei said excitedly. "Arctian quantum processors don't just compute. They can change reality itself. They can manipulate matter, energy, even space-time. And the best part, we found their instruction manual." She pressed more buttons, and new images appeared. They showed complicated diagrams and alien writing. "Remember those scratches on the walls we found? They weren't just random patterns. They're fragments of the Arctian military database. We've spent 2 months decoding them. The Arctians were so sure we couldn't read their language that they didn't even try to erase it properly." Do-hyun studied the images carefully. "How much of their database did we get?" "About 15%, Yu-Mei said. "But it's the important 15%. We have their weapons designs, their shield technology, and most importantly," she paused for effect, "we have their quantum core designs. The quantum core was the heart of any Archean ship. It was what made their technology seem like magic to humans. Until now, no one on Earth had ever seen how one worked. "Can we build one?" Do-hyun asked quietly. Yume smiled. "Sir, we don't need to build one. They left us one." She led them through the engine room to a sealed door. It had taken her team a month just to figure out how to open it safely. Behind the door was a round room with a sphere floating in the middle. The sphere was dark now, but faint lines of blue light still moved across its surface. "This is a Mark 7 quantum core," Yumai explained. "It's old, yes. It's not as powerful as the ones they use now, but it's complete, and it's functional." The Archeans probably thought it was too primitive to be dangerous. They didn't know that we've been studying quantum physics too. We just didn't have the technology to use what we knew. "Until now," Hejin said softly. "Exactly. And there's more." Yumai walked to a workbench covered in what looked like pieces of metal and crystal. "These are parts from their weapon systems. The Archeans didn't remove them completely. They just disconnected them. They thought that would be enough because they didn't think we could understand how they worked." Do-hyun picked up one of the crystal pieces. It glowed faintly in his hand. "Can we repair them?" "Better than that, sir. We can improve them." Yume's eyes were shining with excitement. The Archeans never pushed their technology to its limits. They found something that worked and stuck with it. "But we've been studying these systems for 2 months now, and we found ways to make them work better." She showed them a diagram on her tablet. "See this power flow pattern? The Archeans use it in everything. It's safe and reliable. But if we modify it just a little," she drew a new pattern with her finger, "we can get twice the power output, maybe more." "Is it safe?" Hejin asked. "We'll need to run a lot of tests," Yumai admitted. "But yes, I think it's safe. The basic principles are sound. The Archeans just never thought to try it this way because they always do things the same way they've done them for centuries." Do-hyun looked around the engine room at all the technology they had discovered. "How long until we can test your improvements?" "Give me another month," Yumai said confidently. "We've already got most of the systems working again. Now we just need to modify them and put everything back together. The hard part was understanding how it all worked. Now that we know that, making it better is the easy part." "The Archeans will want to inspect the ship soon," Hejin warned. "They've been asking questions about our progress." Yumai grinned. "Let them come. From the outside, it still looks like we're just cleaning up their trash. We've been very careful about that. All our real work is hidden behind panels and inside systems they won't think to check. They're so sure we can't understand their technology that they won't look too closely." Do-hyun nodded slowly. "Good. Keep it that way. Let them think we're struggling with basic repairs. When the time comes to show them what we've really done," he smiled, "well, that will be a very interesting day." As they walked back to the bridge, Hejin looked thoughtful. "Sir, what Yume's team has done, it's amazing. But the Archeans won't like it when they find out. They might see it as a threat." "They should," Do-hyun said quietly. "That's the point. Right now, they treat Earth like a primitive backwater. They need to learn that humans aren't as simple as they think. Sometimes the best way to keep peace is to show that you can defend yourself." He stopped at a window and looked out at Earth below them. "My grandmother used to say that respect has to be earned. The Archeans gave us this ship thinking it would teach us to know our place. Instead, it's going to teach them something about humanity." "What's that, sir?" "Never give someone the tools to surprise you unless you're ready to be surprised." He turned away from the window. "Tell Yume she has her month. And tell our diplomatic team to keep the Archeans busy. When we reveal what we've done with their gift, I want it to be at exactly the right moment." Back in the engine room, Yumai and her team were already back at work. The quantum core hummed softly as they tested their modifications. With each passing day, the old Archean warship was becoming something new, something that would change humanity's place in the galaxy. The Arxians had meant to teach humanity a lesson about their limitations. Instead, they were about to learn a lesson about human determination, creativity, and the danger of underestimating those you think are beneath you. 1 month. In 1 month, the galaxy would learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to take what others discarded and turn it into something extraordinary. The Phoenix was about to rise from the ashes of Arxian arrogance, and its flight would shake the stars themselves. 3 months had passed since Chief Engineer Yume's team made their big discovery. The old Arxian ship, now called the UES Phoenix, looked very different. Its hull gleamed with a new coating that Yume's team had created using Arxian technology. The coating wasn't just for show. It could repair itself and helped protect the ship from damage. Captain Do-hyun Park stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, looking out at the stars. The bridge had changed too. The huge chairs meant for Arxian bodies were gone, replaced with human-sized control stations. Holographic displays filled the air with information about the ship's systems. "Sir," Lieutenant Haejin Lee called from her station, "the Arxian fleet is approaching. 5 ships, including Ambassador Angsthel's personal vessel." Do-hyun nodded calmly, but inside his heart was beating faster. This was the moment they had been planning for. "Send them our greetings," he said, "and ask Yume if everything is ready." Yume's voice came through the ship's communication system. "All systems are go, Captain. The quantum core is running perfectly. The Arxians won't know what hit them. Well, not literally, of course." The main screen lit up, showing Ambassador Angstthal. The alien's tentacles were moving quickly, showing what humans had learned was a sign of anger. Their skin was flashing between dark purple and red. "Captain Park," the ambassador said, their translation device making their voice sound sharp, "we have detected unusual energy readings from our gift to you. Readings that should not be possible from such an old vessel. We demand an immediate inspection." Do-hyun smiled politely. "Of course, Ambassador. We would be honored to show you what we've accomplished with your generous gift. Would you like to begin with a demonstration?" The ambassador's tentacles froze for a moment. That wasn't the response they had expected. They had thought they would find humans struggling with basic repairs, not offering demonstrations. A demonstration. Angsthel's skin turned a confused shade of green. "What kind of demonstration?" "If you'll direct your attention to the testing area we've prepared," Do-hyun said, pointing to a spot in space about 50 kilometers away. A large asteroid floated there, carefully positioned by Earth's space tugs. "We thought you might like to see how we've been using your educational gift." The ambassador's skin turned darker. "Very well. Show us what you think you've learned." Do-hyun pressed a button on his chair. "Yume, you may begin when ready." Deep inside the Phoenix, Yume sat at her control station in the engine room. Screens around her showed the quantum core's power levels, all running exactly as planned. Her team stood ready at their stations, watching their own displays carefully. "Beginning power-up sequence," Yume announced. She placed her hand on the main control panel, which glowed with soft blue light. Quantum core at 20%, 40%, 60%. The ship hummed with power, but this wasn't the normal hum of an engine. This was something new, something the Arxians had never achieved with their own technology. "Quantum core at 80%, Yume continued. Field stabilizers holding steady. Beginning final power-up sequence." On the bridge, Ho-jin watched the Arxian ships carefully. Their sensors would be going crazy right now, trying to understand what they were seeing. The Phoenix was producing energy readings that should have been impossible for a ship its size, let alone one the Arxians had considered trash. "Core at maximum power," Yume reported. "Quantum field is stable. Targeting systems locked on the test asteroid. Ready to fire on your command, Captain." Do-hyun looked at the ambassador's image on his screen. Angsthel's tentacles were moving in patterns he had never seen before. The alien's skin was cycling through colors so quickly it looked like a rainbow. "Ambassador," Do-hyun said politely, I suggest you watch carefully. You wouldn't want to miss this educational moment. He pressed the firing control. For a split second, nothing seemed to happen. Then a beam of pure white energy shot from the Phoenix's main weapon array. But this wasn't a normal energy weapon. This was something else entirely. The beam hit the asteroid, which was twice the size of the Phoenix itself. There was no explosion, no flash of light. The massive rock simply disappeared. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, converted entirely into energy by the quantum field the beam had created. Silence filled every communication channel. The Arxian ships had stopped moving. Even their energy readings seemed frozen, as if their crews were too shocked to do anything. Finally, Ambassador Anxithal spoke. Their translation device couldn't hide the tremor in their voice. That is impossible. Our best scientists tried for centuries to achieve quantum field conversion at that scale. The power requirements alone would be impossible with standard Arxian quantum core designs. Yumi's voice cut in. She had joined the bridge crew, her face glowing with pride. But we found ways to improve the efficiency. Ways you never tried because you were too sure your existing designs were the best they could be. The ambassador's skin had turned a pale, sickly color. You improved our technology. But you are. We are what, Ambassador? Du-hyun asked quietly. Primitive. Simple. Unable to understand advanced technology. He shook his head. You gave us this ship thinking it would teach us our place in the galaxy. And it did, just not the place you thought. Heijin's console beeped. Sir, the Arxian ships are powering up their weapons. A predictable response. Du-hyun said calmly. Ambassador, I wouldn't recommend that course of action. What you just saw was the Phoenix operating at only 50% of its full power. Would you like to see what it can do at full strength? The Arxian ships quickly powered down their weapons. Ambassador Anxthal's tentacles had gone completely still, a sign of total shock in their species. How? The ambassador finally asked. How did you do this in just 3 months? Yumei stepped forward. Because we had to, she said simply. Because you thought we couldn't. Because every time we looked at a piece of your technology, we didn't just ask, how does it work? We asked, how could it work better? That's what humans do. We take things others think are worthless and find the value in them. Do-hyun nodded. The Phoenix represents a new era in human defensive capabilities. Ambassador, we trust this demonstration will encourage more respectful diplomatic relations moving forward. The ambassador's skin had settled into a deep blue, a color humans had learned meant deep thought. The Arxian Empire will need to reconsider its position regarding Earth's technological status, they said carefully. That would be wise. Du-hyun agreed. Oh, and Ambassador, you might want to inform your government that we've already begun building more ships using what we learned from your gift. The Phoenix is just the first of her class. That wasn't exactly true. They had only just started planning more ships. But the ambassador didn't need to know that. Let the Arxians worry about how many more ships Earth might build. As the Arxian fleet prepared to leave, Ho-jin turned to her captain. Sir, should we tell them about the other improvements we made? The ones we haven't tested yet? Do-hyun smiled. No, Lieutenant. In diplomacy, as in card games, you never show all your cards at once. Let them wonder what else we might have discovered in their discarded technology. He looked out at the stars again, thinking about how much had changed in just 3 months. The Arxians had given Earth their trash, expecting humans to remain inferior. Instead, humanity had turned their technological scraps into something that surpassed their own military capabilities. Send a message to Earth Command, he told He-jin. Tell them Phase 1 is complete. The Phoenix has risen. Yumei touched one of the wall panels, making it glow softly. You know what the best part is, sir. The Arxians still don't understand how we did it. They're so sure of their way of doing things that they can't imagine there might be better ways. That's their weakness, Du Hyun said. They think they know everything. We know we don't, and that's what drives us to learn more. The Phoenix hung in space, its hull gleaming in the starlight. It was no longer a piece of space junk, no longer a symbol of Arxian superiority. Now it was something else. Proof that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, but their ability to see possibilities where others saw only limitations. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if they too were celebrating this moment. Humanity had taken its first real step into the galactic community, not as inferiors to be pitied, but as equals to be respected. And it had all started because the Arxians had given them their trash. 1 week after the demonstration, Captain Do-hyun Park sat in his office on the UES Phoenix, reading messages from Earth's governments. Everyone wanted to know more about the ship's new capabilities. Some were excited, others worried. Change was never easy, especially when it happened so quickly. Lieutenant Hae-jin Lee entered the office, carrying a data tablet. "Sir, the Arxian High Council has sent their response to our demonstration." Do-hyun looked up from his screen. "Let me guess. They're not happy." "Actually, sir, it's more complicated than that." Hae-jin handed him the tablet. "They're sending their chief science minister to Earth. They want to talk about a technology sharing agreement." Do-hyun smiled as he read the message. The Arxians had finally realized something important. It was better to have humans as partners than as potential enemies, especially now that humans had proven they could understand and improve Arxian technology. "Call Yume," he said. "She should hear this too." A few minutes later, Chief Engineer Yume Kang joined them. She looked tired but happy. Her team had spent the last week documenting everything they had learned from the Phoenix project. They wanted to make sure their discoveries weren't lost or forgotten. "The Arxians want to work with us now?" Yume asked after hearing the news. "That's quite a change from thinking we were too primitive to understand their technology." "Nothing changes minds quite like seeing their trash turned into something better than their own ships," Hae-jin said with a smile. The ship's communication system beeped. "Captain," a bridge officer called, "we're detecting multiple ships entering the solar system. They're Arxian, but different from their usual designs." Do-hyun and his officers hurried to the bridge. The main screen showed 5 ships approaching Earth. They were smaller than normal Arxian vessels, and their design was unlike anything humans had seen before. "Those are research vessels," Yume said, studying the sensor readings. "High-end ones too. Look at those energy signatures. They're not warships, they're flying laboratories." The lead Arxian ship sent a message. The face that appeared on the screen wasn't Ambassador Anxithal, but an older Arxian. Their skin was a deep blue color that showed wisdom and experience. "Greetings, Captain Park. I am Chief Science Minister Koval of the Arxian Empire. I hope you will forgive our early arrival, but after seeing the data from your demonstration, my team and I couldn't wait to begin our discussions." Do-hyun bowed slightly. "You honor us with your presence, Minister. Though I'm curious, what exactly do you hope to discuss?" The old Arxian's skin rippled with colors that showed excitement and curiosity. "Captain, your people have done something remarkable. You didn't just repair our old technology. You saw possibilities in it that we missed. Possibilities we ignored because we were too set in our ways." Koval's tentacles moved in a pattern that showed respect, something no Arxian had ever shown to humans before. "We have brought our best scientists and our most advanced research equipment. With your permission, we would like to study the improvements you've made to the Phoenix, and perhaps we might learn from each other." Yume stepped forward. "Minister, are you saying you want us to teach you about your own technology?" "Yes, Engineer Kang. That is exactly what I'm saying." The minister's skin turned a soft green color of honesty. "The Arxian Empire has existed for 10,000 years. In that time, we have grown powerful, but also rigid. We stopped looking for new ways to do things because we believed we had found all the best ways already." The minister gestured to their ships. "But you humans, You took our discarded technology and saw things we never imagined. You didn't just repair the Phoenix. You reinvented it. That kind of creative thinking, that ability to see new possibilities, that is something we have lost, something we need to learn again. Do-hyun looked at his officers. Hye-jin nodded slightly. She believed the minister was being honest. Yu-mai was already making notes on her tablet, probably thinking about all the questions she wanted to ask the Arxian scientists. Minister, Do-hyun said, we would be honored to work with your scientists, but I hope you understand that this must be a true exchange. We will share what we've learned, but we expect the same in return. Of course, Captain. The High Council has authorized me to share our latest technological developments with Earth. After all, you've proven you can handle such knowledge responsibly. The minister's skin showed amusement. Though I suspect you'll find ways to improve our latest technology, just as you did with our old ship. Over the next few hours, Yu-mai and her team met with the Arxian scientists. The aliens were amazed by how the humans had modified the quantum core. They had never thought to try changing the power flow patterns the way Yu-mai's team had. It's because you're taught to respect tradition, Yu-mai explained to one excited Arxian scientist. We had to figure everything out from scratch, so we weren't limited by knowing how things were supposed to work. Hye-jin found Do-hyun standing by his favorite window, watching Earth below them. Quite a change from 3 months ago, she said. Remember how the ambassador acted when they gave us this gift? I remember, Do-hyun said. They thought they were teaching us a lesson about our place in the galaxy. Instead, we taught them something about humanity. What's that, sir? That the most dangerous thing you can do is underestimate someone because they're different from you. He turned to look at the Arxian ships. Their biggest mistake wasn't giving us their old technology. It was thinking they knew exactly what we would do with it. Yu-mai joined them, her eyes bright with excitement. Sir, you won't believe what the Arxian scientists just told me. They want to start a joint research program. They're talking about building a new class of ships that combines their traditional designs with our innovations. And what do you think about that, Chief? I think, Yu-mai looked out at the stars. I think this is just the beginning. The Arxians have thousands of years of scientific knowledge. We have new ways of looking at old problems. Together, we might create things neither of us could make alone. The Phoenix's quantum core hummed softly. Its sound changed from the original Arxian design. It was neither purely human nor purely Arxian technology now. It was something new. Just like the relationship forming between the two species. Send a message to Earth Command. Do-hyun told Hye-jin. Tell them Phase 2 is beginning. The Phoenix project isn't just about one ship anymore. It's about showing the galaxy that humanity is ready to take its place among the stars. As he spoke, more ships appeared in orbit. Earth ships this time, coming to meet their new Arxian allies. 3 months ago, the aliens had looked down on humans as primitives. Now they came seeking partnership and knowledge. Sir, Hye-jin said suddenly, look at this. She pointed to her screen, which showed an Arxian news broadcast. The images showed crowds of Arxians watching recordings of the Phoenix's demonstration. Their skin colors showed amazement and excitement. They're calling it the Phoenix Revolution, she translated. They're saying it's going to change their whole society. Some of their younger scientists are already talking about studying the human way of looking at problems. Do-hyun smiled. My grandmother would have loved this, he said softly. She always said that true strength isn't in having the most power, but in knowing how to use what you have wisely. The Phoenix floated in space, its hull gleaming in the starlight. It was no longer just a ship. It had become a symbol of what could happen when people looked past their prejudices and saw the potential in others. The Arxians had given Earth their trash, thinking it would keep humans in their place. Instead, it had changed everything. Humanity had proven they belonged among the stars, not because they had the most advanced technology, but because they had something more valuable. The ability to see possibilities where others saw only limitations. As the sun rose over Earth, lighting up the Phoenix's hull, Do-hyun thought about all the changes that were coming. The galaxy would never be quite the same. And it had all started because some aliens thought they were clever, giving humans their garbage. They had learned an important lesson. Never give someone the tools to surprise you unless you're ready to be truly surprised. The Phoenix had risen from the ashes of Arxian arrogance, and its flight had changed not just humanity's future, but the future of all species who would learn to work together, each bringing their own strengths to create something greater than any could achieve alone.